My own son held me captive for 8 years. I thought I'd die in that house. But I was wrong. Hello, my name is Marilyn Walker. I'm 75 years old, and today I'm going to share a story that changed my life forever. Maybe it'll give someone out there the strength to make a change. If you're ready to hear it through to the end, give this a like and subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from. Thanks for listening. It all began 50 years ago in a small town in Omaha, Nebraska. I was 25, left alone with little William in my arms. His father walked out when he learned I was pregnant, leaving me nothing but a note. I'm not ready for this kind of responsibility. I remember holding that note with trembling hands while 3-month-old William wailed in his crib. That's when I made a promise. Sweetheart, we'll make it on our own. Mama will do everything to make sure you never want for anything. And I kept that promise. I got a job at a local bakery called Golden Crust. The owner, Mrs. Jenkins, was strict but fair. Marilyn, she said on my first day, I know you're a single mom. This job's tough. Up at 4 a.m, kneading dough, baking. Can you handle it? I can handle it, I said without blinking. I've got a reason to. Every morning I was up at 3:30 making breakfast for William, dropping him off with our neighbor, Mrs. Davis, who watched him while I worked. My hands were always covered in flour. My back ached from lifting heavy trays. But when I saw William's face light up over a new toy or book I could afford, it all felt worth it. Mom, why do other kids have dads and I don't? He asked when he was 7. I knelt down, took his little hands in mine and said, You know, sunshine, sometimes life works out so one person loves enough for 2. I love you for me and for your dad. We've got each other, and that's enough. He hugged me tight. Mom, I'll never leave you. I promise. Those words warmed my heart for years. I believed them. Oh, how wrong I was. William grew up bright, but his teachers sometimes complained about his behavior. Mrs. Walker, his 6th grade teacher, Miss Thompson, told me when he was 12, Your son is very capable, but how do I put this? He manipulates other kids, gets them to do his homework, tricks them. That's impossible, I said. He's such a good boy at home, always helps, always listens. That's the thing, Mrs. Walker. He knows how to show people what they want to see. I didn't understand her words then. I thought she was just biased against kids from single-parent homes. At home, I asked him, William, Miss Thompson says you're getting other kids to do your schoolwork. Is that true? He looked at me with those sincere blue eyes. Mom, how could you believe that? I just help my friends with their assignments, and sometimes they help me. We're friends. Miss Thompson just doesn't like me. And I believed him. God, how easily he lied. When William was 16, something happened that should have been a warning. The police showed up at our door. Mrs. Walker, Officer Johnson said, Your son is accused of stealing money from the school fund. That's a mistake, I exclaimed. William would never steal. Mom, William said, taking my hand, his voice trembling. I just borrowed the money. I wanted to buy you a birthday gift. I was going to pay it back next week when I got my paycheck from my part-time job. Tears welled up in my eyes. My boy wanted to surprise me. Officer, it's a misunderstanding. He wanted to buy me a gift. We'll return the money tomorrow. William was so convincing that the officer eventually agreed not to press charges. I sold my gold earrings, the only keepsake I had from my mother, to repay the stolen money. It wasn't until years later that I learned he never spent that money on a gift. It went to drugs I didn't even know he was using. I was 46 when everything changed. It was a regular morning at the bakery. I was kneading dough when I felt a strange weakness in my left arm. Marilyn, you okay? My coworker Susan asked. You look pale." "Probably just tired," I started to say, but the world spun and I collapsed. I woke up in the hospital. Dr. Harris was explaining something to William, who sat by my bed, holding my hand. Stroke. Partial paralysis on the left side. Long-term rehabilitation. The words blurred together. I tried moving my left arm. Nothing. My left leg, same. "Mom." William leaned in, his eyes full of tears. "Everything's going to be okay. I'll take care of you. I promised I'd never leave you." In that moment, I was so grateful. My son, my boy, would be my rock. The first months of recovery were brutal. William did take care of me, helped me bathe, cooked meals, massaged my limbs. I was slowly improving, but still needed constant help. "Mom," he said one day when friends from the bakery wanted to visit, "the doctor said you need rest. Too many people will stress you out, but they just want to support me." "I know what's best for you. Trust me." And I trusted him. How naive I was. Gradually, William started cutting me off from the outside world. At first, it felt like care. "Mom, phone calls upset you," the doctor said to avoid stress. "But Mrs. Davis wants to visit." "She talks too loud. It's bad for your nerves. I'll pass on your regards." Soon, the phone disappeared from my room. William said he'd sent it for repairs. The repairs dragged on for months. Friends stopped coming. William told me they asked about me but didn't want to disturb me during my illness. I believed him. The changes in his behavior crept in slowly. He became irritable, aggressive. If I asked for something he didn't like, he'd yell, "I've given up my whole life to take care of you. No friends, no girlfriend, no job, all because of you. And you dare ask for more?" "William, I never asked you to sacrifice your life." "Then who's going to look after you? Who? You're an invalid. Without me, you'd die." Those words cut like a knife. My dependence on him became more painful every day. He controlled my food, my medication, my clothes. If I complained about pain, he'd snap. "Faking it again? The doctor says it's all in your head, but those pills cost money we don't have." "Son, maybe we should see a doctor. I feel awful." "A doctor?" He laughed bitterly. "With what money? You think I printed at home? Your treatment's already bankrupted us." That was a lie. I had insurance, savings, but he controlled all the finances and I didn't know. Years passed and things got worse. William started locking me in my room for entire days. "It's for your safety, Mom. You could fall while I'm out." "But I want to sit in the living room, watch TV. TV overstimulates you. Just rest." He brought me food once a day, sometimes forgetting. When I complained about hunger, he'd say, "You don't work. You don't burn energy. Why do you need to eat so much? I'm saving money for your medicine." But I hadn't seen medicine in ages. The worst began when William turned 25. He started coming into my room at night, drunk and aggressive. "Mom, you owe me everything. I've wasted my life on you. Now you're going to pay." "Son, what are you talking about? I'm a man. I have needs. Because of you, I can't find a woman. Who'd want a guy stuck caring for a sick mother?" What happened next, I can't describe in detail. Those were the darkest hours of my life. He used my helplessness, my dependence. I couldn't fight back. My left side didn't work. "If you tell anyone," he hissed in my ear, "I'll tell them you're crazy. Who's going to believe a delusional old woman? They'll lock you in an asylum and you'll rot there." I stayed silent. I cried at night when he left. By day, he'd turn back into the caring son. If someone like the mailman or a social worker came by, he played the part perfectly. "How's your mom doing?" the mailman would ask. "Oh, it's tough. The stroke changed her. Sometimes she says weird things, complains about stuff that never happened, Doctors say it's brain damage, but I keep going, taking care of her. What a good son you are. And I'd sit there, knowing any attempt to tell the truth would be dismissed as the ramblings of a sick woman. There were moments I tried to get help. Once, when William went to the store and forgot to lock my door, I dragged myself to the window and pounded on it, screaming, "Help! Help me!" Passers-by stopped, but William came back quickly. "Sorry, that's my mom. She has dementia from the stroke. Sometimes she panics for no reason." "Mom, calm down, I'm here." People nodded sympathetically and left. Later, he screamed at me, "Try to embarrass me again and I'll throw you out on the street. Let's see how long you last." Another time, I tried passing a note to a social worker, but William intercepted it. "What's this, Mom?" He waved the note in my face. "My son is hurting me. Help? Seriously?" "William, please. I'm taking care of you. I'm giving up the best years of my life and you're trying to make me look like a monster." He tore the note to pieces and threw them at me. "Get this through your head. Nobody needs you but me. You're old, sick, pathetic. I'm the only one who puts up with you out of the goodness of my heart." Those words hurt more than the physical pain. Salvation came in the 8th year of my captivity. I was 54 and had nearly lost hope. That morning, William was furious. He'd lost money gambling and blamed me. "You're why my life's a mess," he yelled. "You're a curse around my neck." He shoved me, and I fell off the bed, hitting my head on the nightstand. The pain was unbearable. I screamed. "Shut up!" He kicked me in the ribs. "The neighbors will hear." But it was too late. Mrs. Davis, our downstairs neighbor, heard my screams. She'd barely seen me in years, despite us being neighbors, and knew something was wrong. She called 911. "I hear a woman screaming in pain from apartment 4B, she told them. "It's not the first time. Something's not right." When the paramedics and police arrived, William tried to block them. "My mom's sleeping. It's been a rough day. No need to bother her." But Mrs. Davis insisted. "I haven't seen that woman in months. We used to be friends, and now it's like she's vanished. Something's off." The paramedics examined me and were horrified. Broken ribs, bruises all over, signs of long-term malnourishment and dehydration. Dr. Martinez, a young female doctor, took my hand. "Ma'am, who did this to you?" I looked at William. He stood with the police, his face a mask of innocence. "Officer, my mom falls sometimes. Her coordination's off since the stroke. I try to watch her, but I can't be there 24/7. "He's lying," I whispered to Dr. Martinez. "He's kept me locked up for 8 years. Please help me." The paramedics took me to the hospital. There, in safety, I told the whole truth. At first, they didn't believe me. William had built such a convincing image of a devoted son. But the medical evidence spoke for itself. The injuries were too severe to be from falls. Tests showed chronic malnutrition and a lack of prescribed medications. A psychologist confirmed I was of sound mind and memory. The trial lasted 3 months. William hired a good lawyer who tried to paint me as an ungrateful mother with dementia. "My client devoted his life to caring for his sick mother," the lawyer said. "He sacrificed his career, his personal life. Now, under the influence of her illness, she's making up stories." But witnesses came to my defense. Mrs. Davis testified she hadn't seen me in years, despite our past friendship. The hospital doctor confirmed the severity of my injuries. A social worker admitted he'd always sensed something was wrong but couldn't pinpoint it. The hardest moment was giving my testimony. Seeing William in the defendant's chair, I felt a strange mix of pain and pity. "Marilyn Walker," the prosecutor said, "tell the court about your relationship with your son." I looked at William. He avoided my gaze. I loved him more than life itself, I said. I gave him everything I had, and he knew it. He used my love against me. How do you feel about him now? I paused, gathering my thoughts. He's my son. Part of me will always love him, but he made a choice. He chose to hurt me instead of getting help for himself. He has to answer for that. William was found guilty of abuse, unlawful imprisonment, and other charges. He was sentenced to 12 years in prison. As the judge read the verdict, William finally looked at me. There was no remorse in his eyes, just anger. "This is all your fault," he whispered. "If you'd been a normal mother, none of this would have happened." Even then, he couldn't take responsibility. A new life. After the trial, my cousin Alice took me in. She lived in a small town near Omaha, was 5 years younger than me, unmarried, and worked as a librarian. We hadn't spoken in years, but when she heard about my situation, she offered help immediately. "Marilyn," she said when we arrived at her house, "this is your home for as long as you need it. No one will ever hurt you again." Her house was small but cozy. Bright rooms, big windows, a garden out back. After 8 years of captivity, it felt like paradise. The first months were hard. I woke up at night in a panic, thinking William was coming for me. I was scared to leave the house alone. Alice patiently helped me through it. "Alice, what if he finds me?" I'd ask. "He's in prison, Marilyn. And even when he gets out, he's got a restraining order. You're safe." I started physical therapy to regain mobility. My therapist, Dr. Wilson, was amazed at how much potential I had. "Mrs. Walker, you're not nearly as disabled as your son claimed," he said. "He told doctors you were almost completely paralyzed, but that's not true. With work, you can recover most of your function." It turned out William had lied to medical professionals for years about my condition to collect disability benefits and justify isolating me. I also started seeing a psychologist, Dr. Harper. She helped me understand that what happened wasn't my fault. "Marilyn," she said, "you were a victim of domestic abuse and emotional blackmail. Your son used your love and illness as weapons against you. That says something about his issues, not yours. But I'm his mother. Did I do something wrong raising him? You raised him alone, worked tirelessly, sacrificed everything for his well-being. You gave him love, care, education. His choice to become cruel is his responsibility, not yours." Slowly, I started to believe her. After a year with Alice, I felt ready to stand on my own. My mobility had improved significantly and my mental health was stabilizing. "Alice, I'm so grateful, but it's time for me to start a new life." "Marilyn, are you sure? You can stay as long as you want." "I'm sure. I'm 55. I've got time to start over." I returned to Omaha. My savings, which William had hoarded for himself, planning to flee when I died, were returned to me by the court. I rented a small apartment in a quiet neighborhood and started thinking about what to do next. I couldn't work at the bakery anymore. My hands couldn't handle heavy dough. But I had an idea. As a child, my grandmother taught me about medicinal herbs. During my captivity, when William refused to buy my medications, I'd sometimes ask him to bring certain herbs, saying they were for tea. Really, I made infusions to ease my pain. I decided to open a shop for medicinal herbs and natural remedies. I found a small, bright storefront with big windows on a quiet street. The landlord, an elderly Mr. Thomas, was skeptical. "Mrs. Walker, you sure people will buy herbs? Everyone goes to pharmacies these days." "Mr. Thomas, lots of folks, especially older ones, want natural alternatives. I won't replace medications, just offer support for the body." I studied herbalism books, consulted with naturopathic doctors, and got the necessary certifications. 6 months later, Nature's Wisdom opened. Business was slow at first, but word spread. I didn't just sell herbs, I educated customers, explained proper use, and warned about contraindications. Mrs. Walker, a regular, Mrs. Johnson, said one day, "You know so much about herbs. Where'd you learn all this?" Life taught me, dear. Sometimes the hardest times give you the most valuable lessons. The shop brought not just income, but fulfillment. Helping people feel better healed me too. 2 years after opening, a woman named Sarah came to me. She was about 40 with bruises on her face. "I heard you understand these things," she said hesitantly. I knew immediately what she meant. I saw the same fear in her eyes that had lived in mine. "Come in, dear. Let's talk." Sarah's story was painfully familiar. A controlling husband who isolated her from family and friends, used their kids as leverage, and abused her. "I want to leave, but where? I have no money, no job. He says if I try to take the kids, he'll prove I'm an unfit mother." "Sarah," I said, taking her hands, "I know how scary this is, but there's always a way out. You just need support and a plan." I connected her with a domestic violence shelter, gave her the contact of a lawyer who specialized in such cases. Most importantly, I showed her she wasn't alone. "Mrs. Walker, maybe there are other women who need help?" "You know what, Sarah? Let's start a support group. Weekly meetings here at the shop after hours." That's how New Dawn began. At first, it was just 3 of us. Me, Sarah, and Maria, a woman who'd survived abuse from her drug-addicted adult son. "We're not here to feel sorry for ourselves," I said at our first meeting. "We're here to support each other and move forward. Each of us is stronger than we think." The group grew. Women told their friends, who brought others. Within a year, we had 12 regular members. We didn't just talk about the past, we planned for the future. We helped each other find jobs, housing, legal aid. We celebrated milestones, a first paycheck after years of dependence, a new apartment, kids' successes. "Marilyn," Sarah said 6 months after we met, "I got a job as a secretary at a law firm. And you know what's best? Last night, my daughter said, 'Mom, I love that you're smiling now.'" Those moments meant more than money. An unexpected return. William was released early after 3 years instead of 12 for good behavior. Probation officers informed me, "Mrs. Walker, he's under a restraining order. He can't come within 500 meters of you. If he does, call us immediately." I was prepared for that day, but fear lingered. What if he tried to find me? A month later, early in the morning before the shop opened, I heard a knock. Peeking through the peephole, I saw him. William looked different. Prison hadn't been kind. He seemed older than his years, gaunt, tired, leaning on crutches. "Mom," he said through the door, "please open. I need to talk." I didn't open, but stepped closer. "William, you're violating the restraining order. I have to call the police." "Wait, please hear me out. I'm sick, Mom. I have multiple sclerosis. Doctors say I'll progressively lose my ability to move." My heart skipped. Despite everything, he was still my son. "I have nowhere to go," he continued. "No one hires ex-cons. I can't afford treatment. I know I treated you horribly, but you're my mother." "William," I said, keeping my voice steady, "you made your choice years ago. You chose to hurt me instead of getting help. I've changed. Prison changed me. I know I was wrong. If you've truly changed, you'll understand why I can't help you." I heard him sob outside. Part of me wanted to open the door, hug him like I did when he was little and came to me with scraped knees, but I remembered the 8 years of hell he put me through. "Mom, I'm your son. I'm the only family you have." "No, William," I said firmly. Family is those who love and support you, not those who hurt you. I have a family, people who truly care about me. You'll regret this. His tone shifted, the old aggression surfacing. When I die, you'll wish you'd helped me. Maybe, I said calmly, but I won't let anyone use my love against me again. Leave, William. Don't come back. I heard him limp away, leaning on his crutches. In that moment, I knew I was finally free from fear, guilt, and illusions. 2 years passed. The shop thrived and New Dawn grew to 20 women. Many transformed their lives, found jobs, built new families, helped their kids heal from trauma. One fall day, a man in his 60s walked into the shop, tall, silver-haired, with kind eyes. "Excuse me," he said. "I'm Dr. Richards, a retired psychologist. I heard about your support group. I specialized in working with domestic violence survivors. Could I help? For free, of course." "Dr. Richards, that'd be wonderful. But why are you interested?" "My first wife suffered abuse from her previous husband. I saw how hard recovery was for her. She passed away a few years ago, cancer, but she always wanted to help other women." Dr. David Richards became our regular consultant. He led workshops, offered one-on-one counseling, helped women create safety plans, and he became my friend. We'd stay late after group meetings, talking over tea. He shared stories about his work and his wife, whom he loved deeply. I shared my journey to healing. "Marilyn," he said one day, "you're an incredible woman. What you've survived and turned into strength to help others, that's true heroism." "I'm no hero, David. Just a survivor who decided her story should mean something." "Isn't that the same thing?" Something more than friendship grew between us. At 60, I felt like a woman again, not a victim, not disabled, just a woman valued and respected. "Marilyn," David said 6 months after we met, "I know trust is hard after what you've been through, but I want you to know I'll never hurt you, ever." "David," I replied, "I've learned to tell who's trustworthy and who isn't. You're one of the good ones." We married a year later, a small ceremony, just close friends and group members. At 61, I was a bride again, and it was beautiful. Now, at 75, it's been 9 years since David entered my life, and 30 years since my liberation. Nature's wisdom is a neighborhood staple. New Dawn has helped over 100 women. We have our own space, professional counselors, legal support, and job training programs. What started as a few women meeting in the back of my shop has become a full-fledged support center. David and I travel, give lectures, and train professionals in other cities. My story is part of curricula for social workers and psychologists. Mrs. Richards, a young psychology student, asked recently, "What advice would you give a woman in a domestic violence situation?" "First," I said, "believe you deserve better. Abuse is never your fault. Second, find support. One person can feel powerless, but with others who believe in you, everything changes. Third, it's never too late to start over. I found freedom at 54. I'm 75 now, and I'm still growing, still changing, still dreaming." A month ago, I learned William had died. His multiple sclerosis progressed faster than doctors predicted. He spent his final 2 years in a state-funded nursing home. A staff member called me. "Mrs. Richards, your son asked us to tell you he was sorry for the pain he caused. He asked for your forgiveness." I held the phone in silence for a long time. "Thank you for letting me know. He also asked, he wanted you to come to his funeral." "No," I said calmly, "I won't be there, but I'll pray for his soul." And I did pray, not out of guilt or duty, but out of compassion for a man who could have been good if he'd made different choices. Dear viewers, I shared my story not for pity or shock, but to show there's no darkness you can't escape into light. If you're in a situation of abuse, physical, emotional, financial, know it's not forever. There are people ready to help, organizations ready to support, and a chance to start anew. If you know someone who might be a victim, don't stay silent. Sometimes one call to a hotline can save a life. And if you think it's too late to change after 40, 50, or 60, you're wrong. I started the happiest chapter of my life at 55, found true love at 60, built my life's work at 56. Life isn't what happens to us. It's what we do with what happens. I went through hell and came out stronger, wiser, kinder. If I could do it, so can you. Don't give up. Seek help. Believe in yourself. And remember, every new day is a chance to start again. If my story inspires even one person to make a change, everything I went through was worth it. Thank you for listening. If this touched your heart, please like and share it with someone who might need it. Subscribe to the channel. I'll keep sharing stories of human strength. And remember, you're stronger than you think. You're worth more than you're told. And you deserve love and respect. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Dear viewers, if you enjoyed the story, give it a like and share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you won't miss new exciting stories. See you tomorrow.